Welcome, everyone. You're listening to the ImPerfect Podcast. I'm Kathy.
And I'm Kennedy. Join us on this week's episode as we discuss intriguing topics and people of interest that will inspire us to explore all of the unique pieces of ourselves.
We are all imperfectly perfect.
We're glad you're here. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the ImPerfect Podcast. Today, we are excited to be interviewing none other than a local icon, Mr. Danny Killam. Dan has owned his own business, Dan's Damages, in our area for several years now, as he is originally from Salisbury. Most know him as someone who is always giving back to the community and quite literally providing us all with responsible retail therapy.
We don't know anything about that or Dan's store, right?
Yeah, never been there before. Never seen the place.
Dan's been working since the age of 16, mostly in the area of trucking, right up until he started his own business. He's been married for 27 years as of this month, has 3 children of his own, and 1 grandchild he thinks the world of. Although Dan has had many health issues over the past years, he is really thankful for his current state of health, and he says he's still going strong.
We're really glad to have been able to grab Dan for a quick interview today, and I'm sure it's in between pickups nonetheless. So let's get started. So hi, Dan. How are you?
I'm good, dear. You?
Good. Thank you so much for taking the time today. I know you're currently working as we're chatting, but that's it's just shows how busy you are, but we appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. I'm always busy.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? What is your story? Who's Dan? What do you like to do in your spare time when you have it?
I was going to say spare time. What's that?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'm just me, I guess. Born and raised here in Salisbury.
Yeah.
Went to school JMA. Didn't graduate. Went in the front door and out the back door and went to work.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You said you were working since the age of 16, eh?
Yep.
Yeah. And trucking was where you started, or did you eventually end up there? Or
I eventually, first year I worked at Fawcett's Lumber Mill. Then I went trucking after that.
okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
my first driver's license was a truck license.
no way.
Yep.
Not many people could probably say that. So do you like to spend time with you mentioned your grandchild?
Yes, love her to
Yeah.
death. That's where all my spare time is.
Yeah. We see her sometimes in the store with you, getting those few candies by the cash.
You know, always hear her when she's here.
Yeah.
You know, my spare time, love to go camping, fishing, biking, and spending time with her. But she does all that with us.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So what gave you the idea, Dan, to get out of the trucking business and into what you're doing?
Well, that's a kind of a funny story in a way, Kathy. I was doing a delivery for a warehouse in town, and they had some stuff sitting around. They wanted to know if I'd be interested in buying a couple packages, and I asked them what they wanted for it, and they gave me a price on the whole skid, so I bought the whole thing. It was a skid of cheese, and then it just went from there. They called me all the time, and it's just been growing.
That's when you were over across the street from where you are now, right? In the little baby barn?
No, I was never there. That was the ice cream shop.
Right.
I can remember going down there years ago and buying bags of fries and that sort of thing. So that's kind of, it started, and then you had something set up in your basement at home for dry goods.
I started in a truck in Lakeside Estates in 1995.
Okay. Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And for those that don't know, Dan's business is Dan's Damages. So he, like he says, buys, trailers of goods and he sells them at really great prices. Mom and I were just teasing about how we've never been in there and spent more money than we should have, or found, things that we never thought we'd find, or
yeah. So what made you take the leap from just the little bit in your basement and in the old ice cream stand to actually getting your own spot and setting up there, Dan?
it just got way too big, too fast actually, and I've already outgrown this building.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you're doing it out of your basement and garage or your truck, it's just you're bothered all the time. People are knocking on your door at 2 or 3 in the morning, and do you have any of this left or whatever? And figure this way here, if we run it out of a store, close the door and go home, and that's it. I'm done.
Yep.
Right.
And that's the way it should be. I mean, it's a business. You have your own life, right? So.
And now we're closed on the weekends for the summer. So.
Yeah, because you're camping, right? You like to go camping. Yeah.
Well, you need some time for yourself too, because
Yeah, my health ain't the best. I've had some issues over the years, so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so who else works at the shop with you?
My wife, Shannon.
Nice. Yeah, I've seen your daughter in there a couple times as well. Maybe she was just popping in to help on loads and stuff, or.
Yeah, more like load her car up with some free stuff.
Oh, yeah. I can't say that I wouldn't do the same. Yeah.
So what's the most unusual or unexpected product that you've gotten in for sale, Dan, in the past?
You really don't want me to say that.
Okay. What's the second most unusual?
Adult toys. Put it that way. What'd you say? Adult toys.
Oh my goodness.
Really? Really? Did that come from a big box store that you pick up from once a week, or?
No, that comes from Amazon actually.
Oh, okay. That would make more sense.
And that's what was on it.
Interesting.
So
yeah, they didn't hit the shelf. They just hit the dumpster.
Yeah. No kidding.
You got to maintain your reputation there, Dan.
Well, that, and unbeknownst to most people, you need to have a license to sell that stuff.
Really?
Oh, true, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh,
interesting.
didn't even know.
Yeah,
Well,
and what's
like cigarettes and things like that, you have to have a special license to carry tobacco, and
right.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
And
I know that too, a lot of people come to you for the model paints and the cars and the.
Yeah, we run through on a rough guess, I would say $5,000 worth a month.
Wow.
In paint and kits.
Yeah, I didn't realize how big of a business that was either. And I know that my boyfriend, he has come in and bought a couple from you, and it's just, he said your prices are great, let alone it's a big business and it's a big thing, and they go for big money, eh?
Yeah, well, when I started building when I was a kid, like, you could buy them for $3 or $4. You can't buy a bottle of paint for that.
No.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy.
And what about your customer base, Dan? Is it, I know in the beginning it was mostly locals, and Kennedy and I would be waiting, and we'd get an alert from Dan's Damages, and Kennedy be like, did you see what he got in? I'll be right up in 5 minutes or whatever, and we'd rush down. But now it seems you have a really big customer base coming in from out of town even.
Yeah, St. John, Hampton, Fredericton, Capillet, PEI, Nova Scotia.
Wow.
Yep, you can, like, Wednesdays especially. They're lined up out here for miles.
Yeah, well, there's sometimes Mom and I think about stopping in, and then we see the line and we go, maybe we'll stop later. But that's good for you in business.
Yeah, we had quite a lineup this morning as well.
Wow.
Really?
Kind of strange for a Monday, but.
Well, people just can't wait to see what you get in, I guess, eh?
Yeah, a rough guess, there's probably 60 people standing in the yard.
Wow. And it's crazy to see how much it's grown just even over the past couple of years, because like Mom said, we used to be able to just pop in and it be no issue, but now we have to kind of plan ahead if we're gonna
almost make an appointment for an hour.
Right. Right. But it's great for you. It goes to show, it's like you said, you're starting to outgrow the building that you're in right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're doing some renos inside at the moment. Going to put an overhead door in, and hopefully within sometime next year, we're going to build a piece on.
Oh, wow. Nice.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So when you get these orders, does anything come to mind, like, for your biggest orders? Like, I was in to pick up a couple pies there a few weeks ago. You had lots of those. And and we've seen you get a gigantic order of whatever all at once. What's your biggest order of the same thing that you can think of?
Pies and fries.
Mm.
Pies, fries. Oh,
Fries,
that would
yeah.
have been a great name for your business too.
Pies and fries. So
I would guess in the last 2 months, we've sold over 7,000 pies.
No.
whoa, I had no idea.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, so besides the business, Dan, what else keeps you going in life? What keeps you motivated, keeps you working hard and
Well, my build this business for my granddaughter, and
Yeah.
that pretty much gets me out of bed every day.
yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah,
And some days are harder than others.
absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
She's some friggin' cute. I've seen her a couple times and I see sometimes Shannon putting pictures on Facebook, so
That's
she's
our pride and joy.
yeah. Yeah. So is she your daughter and her and your grandchild living with you guys?
Just the granddaughter.
Just the
Okay.
granddaughter. Well, that keeps
Yep.
her nice and close.
Oh, yes.
There's nothing like says there's nothing that says get up in the morning like a cute little face in your face, right? I've woken up with my own kids sometimes and they're like,
Yeah. I'm up and gone before she gets up. She doesn't get up till probably 8:30.
Oh, she's a good
wow.
sleeper then.
Wow. So, Dan, we all have regrets and failures in our lives, and thus the Imperfect Podcast. And on our podcast, we like to talk about some things as we look back through our lives. Do you have a regret or failure that you're willing to share with us today? Words of advice for maybe somebody listening?
Yeah, if you're not happy with what you're doing, get away. Don't do it.
Hmm.
That's real good advice.
Yeah, plain and
So,
simple. Yeah,
I've
that's
done
real
a
fair.
couple of jobs like that, didn't like to do, and kind of got stuck in them for a few years. And yeah, no, if you don't like what you're doing, don't do it.
Yeah,
That's
it really drains you.
It does.
yeah, and I don't know what the saying is, but there's a saying about when you have a job and you enjoy it so much, it's not work, it's your
Exactly.
life. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And that's why this has done as well as it has. It's something we love to do.
Yeah.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah, you're entirely right. And people know that, right? I mean, you love to talk to people for a few minutes when they stop in and check in how you been, and
Yep.
it's like you're building relationships, right?
And we love to help people. It's
Yes.
Right.
another reason we built this store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have your big charity Santa at Christmas time.
Yep. He sits out all year round.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
he sits out all year. I didn't know that.
And people can feed him money and then
Oh, there he is.
and so then you make a large donation at the end of the year around Christmas time.
Yep. Yeah, we donated just over $1,700 to the food bank at Christmas time this year.
Wow.
That's great.
And just it's crazy how much coins can add up just slowly over
Oh,
the years.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just I throw all my change into a bottle for my granddaughter, and we probably got an 18-liter water bottle, 3/4 full.
Yep.
It
And
adds
we
up
just
for
continue.
sure. For
It don't
sure.
take long.
Yeah, and unless you set it aside like that and just throw it in a jar, it easily just disappears just as quickly as it showed up too. So it's smart to
Yeah,
and to have your Santa there, nobody likes to carry change around anymore. So let's just throw it in the Santa and do something good, right?
exactly. Because today's dollar don't go anywhere near where it used to.
No.
You're not kidding. You're not
Yeah.
kidding.
So just as that, we don't want to keep you too much longer, Dan. We know you're busy, but we ask every guest this question, just naturally so with our podcast name. What makes you imperfect?
I don't know how to say no.
Mm. It's funny, you're not the first one to say that. And that's fair.
Yeah, my wife keeps telling me to say no, and I don't know how.
Yeah. You just want to help people.
Yep.
Yeah. And we spread ourselves so thin sometimes that we don't
Well,
realize till we're on the other end.
yeah, it's funny because, like I said earlier, I really don't have the health to do a whole lot.
Mm.
but we do what we can do, and I've had 8 heart attacks in the last, well, I had my first one at 28, and then I started having more at 40. Between 40 and 50, I had 8 and 5 stents put in.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
So, yeah, when it comes to lugging in, it's great. But when it comes to lugging out people's cars, well, they need to bring some help.
Right.
Right. And that's fair.
Entirely understandable.
The body can only take so much, I guess. And mine tells me that every day.
Yeah. Yeah. And and like I said, we don't realize until we spread ourselves so thin, and it's already past that point that, how much we put on our bodies.
Yeah, 15 hours a day, 7 days a week through the winter is really hard.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're taking some time for yourself this summer.
Yep. And next fall, if we're still here, we're going to take an Alaskan cruise.
Awesome.
Good for you. You deserve it.
To do that. Yeah, that's really great.
Going to do it this year, but we want the granddaughter to be at least a year older, and she'll enjoy it more.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you been on a cruise before?
No.
Oh, yeah, you'll love it. Yeah, we had a really great time when we went on ours. It's a different experience because obviously you're on a boat, but
the food.
I've been lucky enough. I've been all over Canada and the States from driving, but Shannon herself, I've had her to Cape Breton and PEI, and that's as far as she's been.
Oh, wow. So that'll be something special for all of you.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's really great.
That's great.
I've
Well,
always wanted to do that, so.
yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking the time today, Dan. We know you're busy. And
I'm sorry it couldn't be more interesting, but
oh gosh, no. I don't know how people find us interesting. But but we do really appreciate you taking the time, and well, I'm sure we'll be seeing you soon, shamefully.
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah. So we'll be talking soon, Dan.
All right, there. Well, have a good night, ladies.
You too.
Do you want to tell people, Dan, before we let you go, where they can find you if they've not heard of your business before?
Yeah, maybe the location and maybe the Facebook page or.
Yep. Facebook page is Dan's Damages, and location is 3148 Main Street, Salisbury, right across from the CIBC Bank.
Perfect.
Great.
All right. Well, thanks so much.
Just look for the crowd and you'll find me.
Yeah, right.
We'll be able to find you.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye, Dan.
Take care.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
If you or someone you know has a unique story to tell, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at theimperfectpodcast@outlook.com.
For more information and how to connect with us on social media, you can visit us at our website, theimperfectpodcast.ca.
And from whichever platform you are listening to this episode, be sure to like, share, and leave us a review. We would really appreciate your feedback. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode.
We look forward to hearing your feedback and seeing you all find that extra joy and embrace your own imperfect.
See you next week.